name is Courtney Gibson, and this is my employment speech. When thinking about bugs, most people usually don't refer to them as a tasty treat. A lot of people, such as myself, would consider bugs to be far from something to eat. Little do people know, though, that everyone consumes bugs in their lifetime. In Lauren Brown's article she wrote in May of 2013 on the Top News Reports website, she explains that humans, on average, already unintentionally ingest an estimated of 1 pound of insects a year, mixed with other bugs. Today, I will be telling you the history behind eating bugs, what bugs are edible, and why people eat them. I will start by telling you the history of eating bugs. Long ago, there were hunters and gatherers who collected more than edible plants. They also set their sights on bugs. They were everywhere and other animals ate them, so why not? In fact, these early humans probably took their cues on which were tasty by observing the animals in the area. Greek scientist and philosopher Aristotle even wrote about harvesting tasty cicadas, which are flying plant-feeding insects that are most famous for their powerful singing voices and rare appearances. And this is the cicadas. Years later, Romans and Greeks would dine on beetles, larvae, and locusts. If that's not enough, let's get biblical with it. In Leviticus 11:22, it says, "Even those of them you may eat, the locust after his kind, and the bald locust after his kind, and beetle after his kind, and the grasshopper after his kind." With the green light clearly given, beetles and grasshoppers in Israel got a little nervous. John the Baptist lived in the desert for months at a time, living on locusts and honeycomb. So people were eating bugs way before our time, and today people continue eating them. 36 African countries are entomophagous, which is eating insects as food, as are 23 in the Americas, 29 in Asia, and even 11 in Europe. There are more than 1,900 edible species of bugs on Earth. Beetles are edible bugs. The most common eaten beetles are the longhorned, June bug, and rhinoceros varieties. They are munched by people living in the Amazon basin, parts of Africa, and other heavily forested regions. Both tropical and temperate as diverse species are easily found in trees, fallen logs, and on the forest floor. And these are the beetles. Butterflies and moths are also bugs that people eat. They do more than look pretty, fluttering across a meadow. These winged insects during their larval and pupal stages are succulent and full of protein and iron. So people actually eat bugs, butterflies, and moths. And bees and wasps fall under the category of edible bugs as well. We like bees for their honey, but they have more to give. People eat these insects when they are in their immature stages. Stingless bees are most commonly eaten, with wasps being a close second. Ants are another edible bugs. They are good for calcium, protein, and niacin of iron and other nutrients. And these bugs are the most common bugs eaten. The last thing I will tell you is the reasons why people actually eat bugs. They provide necessary nutrients. The FAO reports that adult locusts and grasshoppers have comparable levels of protein to raw beef. In most insect-eating societies, many livestock make up a sizable portion of the daily needed dose of protein, calcium, and zinc and iron. These are the grasshoppers and locusts. Plus, gathering and farming insects can offer many forms of employment and income, especially in developing tropical countries, where a lot of edibles live. Another reason also good for the economy. Because they are cold-blooded insects, they require less energy to stay warm and therefore are more efficient at converting feed into protein. Crickets, for example, need 12 times less feed than cattle, 4 times less than sheep, and half as much as pigs and chickens to produce the same amount of protein. Intimately, the consumption of insects as food is also a safe and healthy way to reduce pest insects without using insecticides. So I hope you have learned some interesting facts today about edible bugs. I've informed you today about the history of eating bugs. I've also told you about the types of bugs that are edible. And the last thing I told you was why people choose to eat bugs. Although I personally